Go for it.
It's good afternoon, Lauren Ritchie. Thanks for joining us at Yellow Shelf.
Thank you so much for having me, Joe. It's fantastic to be here.
Oh, I'm excited to hear all about your podcast, Millinery.Info. This is
Yes.
a fascinating area that, look, I just shared with you, I don't know a lot about, and it's exciting to be able to hear from you, to share all about it. What do we need to know about your podcast and about you?
Well, for the podcast itself, it's interviewing. I get to speak with milliners and hat makers from around the world, and we chat about their careers. Some of them are long-standing leaders in our industry. Others might have recently won competitions and have the design of the moment. And it's just exciting to get to hear their story. We're a very small, particular, very niche industry, and it's lovely to get to share their stories. As for my background, I'm a milliner. I studied fashion design at university and then got a role with a fantastic milliner in Melbourne called Louise MacDonald. And she was creating content for this site, Milliner.Info, that she founded. And the more time I spent with her, we were together for 7 years working together. And probably about the fourth year, I was about to travel overseas to the UK. And I said, "Oh, could I do something for Milliner.Info while I'm there?" And she said, "Absolutely, go for it." So I went and visited Luton in the UK, which is the home and a very historic place for straw braid hats in the UK. And I was chatting away to people and I was writing down and I was reflecting on why I wasn't enjoying the experience as much as I could have. And I went to write the article and I was like, there are already two fantastic publications in millinery, the Hat Magazine, Hat Lines, and also Hat Talk as a digital platform. And they're covering the written content. And what was missing from our industry was this verbal discussion. We sit and we sew a lot. We already have so much content we're consuming, or if we're small businesses being at our computer for another to read another interview that's maybe already been covered in a similar way. There was an opportunity, so I ended up inviting another milliner that I knew based in the UK. Could we chat online? Would you like to be my first podcast? And she went, absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, what a great backstory. And Lauren, tell us a bit about your it's a monthly podcast, that's correct, isn't it? You do this
Yes,
monthly.
yes.
And tell us about some of the guests. I guess when I was thinking about talking with you, I was thinking about, polarizing news stories around what Melania Trump's wearing or what members of the royal family are wearing,
Yes.
and even music icons people are
Yes.
wearing. Yeah, like what inspires you to, seek out these guests? What do you talk about?
So for me, I have been in the millinery industry for, oh, I don't like this number, 15 years. And it's been quite a while. And through that, I've been very fortunate to be involved with the Millinery Association of Australia, the Dutch Association, and I was meeting all these fantastic milliners and getting to hear these stories. And but other people weren't knowing each other, and it was just so odd to me. I knew all these people. Why didn't they know each other? So this is a great way to share that. So some of it is about capturing the history. There's a fantastic milliner in the Netherlands, Marion Jonken. She has been making hats for designers and fashion designers and is a real leader in the Dutch market. But there are some Australians who don't know her. So she released a book, and I use that as a
Yeah.
little pickup to be able to invite her to be part of the podcast. Usually what I do is look to the competitions, look to the associations, or if someone's releasing a book, I find there's a really good tool. It's kind of a nice prompt to hear about a really recent project of theirs. They feel really confident speaking about it because they know it so well. And then I take that as an excuse to dive back and say, this is fantastic to hear, but where did you start? What's your story?
Oh.
And at first, some of them are apprehensive. We're a lot of small business owners. So I think they get a bit nervous about sharing their story. But I say, don't be nervous. We're just going to talk about hats. It just feels like this. And off they go. And it's so exciting to hear them and hear their joy that they speak about what they get to do in their work.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's fair to say, Lauren, in preparation to talk to you today, I kind of just did a Google search in my hometown, which is a big enough town, it's not a capital city, of milliners in my area. And I was actually kind of blown away how many, are across the region I live in. I was like,
Yes.
oh my gosh, wow. So I mean, I multiply that by the world, the globe.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sure you've got endless guests, endless conversations about fashion and events and sustainability and, just the individuals as a profession. Lauren, if we're interested, if we're watching today anywhere in the world, how do we connect with the podcast? How do we connect with you? I will put that in the show notes, but
Thank
I
you.
can't recommend this podcast enough because it is just super interesting, the guests you have.
And it's so interesting to have each one's dynamic. I'm mostly based in Melbourne myself, but we getting to speak to people all over the world, and you'll hear each has its own little quirk to it. Like there's a fantastic podcast with Ian Bennett, who's a milliner in the UK, and his dogs are like chomping on their bone in the background. And then someone was sewing while we were chatting, so you can hear
Yeah,
scissors at work. So it's a wonderful way to get a sneak peek into workrooms
yeah,
around the world.
yeah,
We try and be on every platform. So we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, on YouTube, in terms of listening to the podcast directly, SoundCloud, Apple, Spotify.
yeah.
Hopefully, if you name it and you search Millinery.Info, we're going to pop up and you will be there for your ears to
Yeah,
listen.
awesome. Well, look, I'll put that in the show notes to make it super easy. Lauren, thank you for joining us today. I am going to just say to you, that's not a Canva background. That's your studio behind you, isn't
This is
it?
my studio here. Yes, this
Yeah.
is I'm in the heart of Melbourne, and I love this space. It's part showroom, part work room, and you can see vintage hat blocks or lots of hat blocks, some vintage hats up here, and then
Yeah.
sink, and because we do a lot of I spray a lot of materials, kind of a wet area behind me. So
Yeah.
I love this
Um,
space.
and I am going to throw in one more cheeky question.
Go
Being
on.
based in Melbourne, one of the biggest horse races in the Southern Hemisphere takes place in
Yes.
you. Are you a busy human, what, between now and
Yeah.
November?
Someone said to me, what are you up to at the moment? And it's early in the year when we're speaking. And I said, I'm working towards Melbourne Cup. I said, but that's months away. And I went, yes, it is. But it's such an exciting time, and
Yeah.
there's so much thought and consideration that goes into the outfit that people choose to wear that I like to have a selection of stock, but also have time to be able to do some custom design. So I've got
Yeah.
to be ready.
Yeah, awesome. Well, look, thank you for taking some time out to chat to Yellow Shelf. I'm excited to share your pod with the globe. And yeah, good luck with the podcast. Keep podcasting.
Thank you so much, Joe. It's so great to shed a little bit about our story.
Yay. See ya.